It's your girl, MsMonaeee, and I'm back with another video. Oh, yes! Today on the menu, we got this little garnish stick candle, okay? This is the extra rich, okay? This is jasmine. This is green candle. This green means money, y'all. Green means money. Green is also represented by the heart chakra, which we'll be getting to next. But today we're gonna sit here and talk. We're gonna do some solar plexus energy talk, okay? Today we're gonna talk about the 4 stages of personal power. These 4 stages of personal power come from Anatomy of the Spirit. This is by Carolyn Myss. You guys can go ahead, check out this book, order it on Amazon. I'm gonna list it in the description box below. It has literally helped me become more in my divine power as a woman. So let's begin. Self-esteem became a popular word around the 1960s. This was a decade of a revolution, okay, that redefined the empowered individual. Only then did self-esteem become essential to men and women's health, which started to become redefined as psychological and spiritual health, as well as your physical health. Each of the 3 decades after the 1960s kind of redefined what self-esteem is. Symbolically, the 1960s through the 1990s reflect the developmental stages that we go through as individuals to learn self-empowerment. So after the decade of revolution that came in the 1960s, when we went into the 1970s, it automatically became a decade of involution. The raw energy released in the 1960s that broke down external barriers, it led the 1970s tasks of bringing down internal barriers. The 1970s, okay, was the decade that psychotherapy became a household word. The 1970s merged 2 new psychological forces. First, the exceedingly powerful word of self, which was finally released from its prison. The only other end word that it could be combined with was ish. Get it? Selfish? Okay. That one word alone, selfish, had for centuries held us back as individuals from being able to explore who we could become. It really took us back from seeking any personal development. So the 1970s kind of made self an acceptable prefix, and then we started to see things like being self-motivated, self-healing, having self-awareness. Not surprisingly, the fascination with the self had been taken to the extreme. To test how far our new powers of what we could accomplish, to test how far our new knowledge was about this self, we entered the age of the 1980s, which became the indulgence of the self, narcissism. The 1980s narcissistic atmosphere made us feel we were suddenly free to satisfy all our physical desires, and indulge we did to every extreme. It was like, how fast could we become rich? How fast could we transfer information? How fast could we convert our world into a techno planet? How fast could we become thin? How fast could we become healed? Even the goal of becoming conscious, which was thought to have taken a lifetime of going through trials and tribulations and understanding self and your spirit, okay? They thought that in the 80s they could accomplish it in a week if they had enough money. So even self-indulgence reaches a saturation point, okay? And by the time we had reached the 1990s, the pendulum had swung again from the external world to the internal world, directing all these patterns towards self-evolution. That we could finally form a self that was powerful enough to be in this world, but not of this world. A self that can enjoy the magnificence of the physical world without allowing the world's many illusions to deplete its soul. So now there are 4 stages of personal power. We talk about revolution. Step 1, revolution. Step 2, involution. Step 3, narcissism. And step 4, evolution. These are the powers of developing your self-esteem, okay? This is your personal power. This is solar plexus energy talk, okay? This is the yellow energy that is in your solar plexus. These are the 4 stages through which we progress to attain spiritual maturity. So regardless of how long each phase lasts, whether you stay in one for a month or 2 or you stay in another one for years, a person will inevitably grapple their particular challenges in life when it comes to their character, their ethics, their morality, and their self-respect. So we have to work to discover ourselves, okay? We have to understand, why do we keep secrets or have addictions or blame others for our own errors? We must work to understand why we find it so difficult to receive or give a compliment or even carry shame within us. We need to learn the parameters of our character, how much of ourselves that we will compromise, and where we draw the line, or even if we do draw lines. Creating an identity for ourselves is based upon the self. It's based upon self-discovery and not biological and ethnic inheritance. The first stage of self-discovery is revolution. So developing self-esteem requires an active revolution, or even a bunch of mini revolutions, but it's where we begin to separate from group thought and be able to establish our own sense of authority. We may suddenly realize that we hold an opinion different from our peers or our family, and in either case we will have to separate ourselves, and we will have difficulty leaving the group's energy, whose strength depends on numbers and the opposition to most expressions of individuality. The act of finding our own voice is spiritually significant, okay? Spiritual maturity is not measured by how much a person knows or the sophistication of the person's opinions, but it's based on their courage and their genuineness to have the ability to maintain and keep those beliefs. And I don't mean the stubbornness of 2 people locking horns together, okay, because that is sacral chakra play. What I'm talking about, spiritual maturity in contrast, is the capacity to stand one's ground as a reflection of genuine inner belief. So you have to honor your personal values and have the courage to make the choices that you need to make. When we develop this kind of inner strength, even in a small measure, we are more capable of introspection and self-examination. In this way, we can gradually replace the influences of our tribal or group mind with our own intuitive guidance. So once this natural process has gone, the natural next step is involution, the exploration of our interior self. Stage 2, involution. Every new encounter or pursuit asks us, what else do I believe? What else do I think? I want to know more about myself. This is a request for information. In every new situation, okay, information pours into our gut. We get feelings about new people, feelings about new circumstances, okay? In involution, we assess the external world and how well it is serving our needs. Involution makes us want to take self-examination and focus on our inner relationship with God and our life purpose. But first we have to develop a strength of stamina that gives us the capacity that we need to be able to handle self-examining thought. So self-knowledge promotes choice and action, and many people are unready for either. But that's why involution is formed, and then the next stage becomes narcissism, where you can birth the image of a new self. So stage 3, narcissism. Although it has a bad rap, sometimes narcissism can become an extremely necessary energy that we have to use as we work to develop a strong sense of self. Giving ourselves a new image, okay, a new hairstyle or new clothes or new thoughts, new ideas, new things, okay? While we're in this major vulnerable stage, we may get critical major reactions from our tribal members or group associates, but the narcissistic energy will give us the backbone to be able to recreate ourselves and our boundaries in the face of opposition. The changes in this stage can help us to prepare for more significant internal changes to follow, okay? Becoming who we want captures the significance of the 4th stage, which is evolution. The last stage of developing self-esteem is an internal one, okay? People who can maintain their principles, their dignity, and their faith without compromising any energy from their spirit are internally evolved. You can enter a stage of evolution where personality just becomes a persona. Yeah, boo, so you already know what it is. It's your girl, MsMonaeee, and I can't wait to come back and talk to you guys about another video. This is a little solar plexus energy talk so we can be able to learn more about our bodies and our spirit. Us being able to dive deep into these talks really helps boost the collective's knowledge about what the hell is really going on. So stay tuned as we promote ourselves into being a higher collective. I love you all so much. Check out the other videos on my channel. Check them out. I'm with the shit.